Roadies. It's the afternoon here, and I decided just to check in with you and have a little bit of company while I was stitching. I went to my swimming exercise class this morning, and then after that I rode my bike to a place that hair cutting salon, and I took 3 inches off my hair, but I still haven't, it's still long enough for me to put it up, which is what I wanted, because sometimes I don't think I look that great in short hair all the time. I don't know. You know, it's all kind of preference anyway, but I like to put it up, which makes it look like short hair, but I can have it down when I want. And I'm here to tell you that 3 inches off of my hair feels like I lost 10 pounds. There's nothing like a good haircut. It's kind of like when you pluck the whiskers off your chin and it's all clean, and you feel so much better. So I did that this morning, and then I rode home, and I had a lot of, I had like 4 or 5 things to mail out, and so I got those packaged up, and when G gets back, I'll have him take me to the post office. And I also need to go to the West, because I realized as I was working on Frosty Forest that I thought I had kitted the whole thing up, but in fact I had kitted up the first block. And they don't use the same color. I mean, some colors go, you know, like the white, the snow goes through every block, but there's a lot of other colors. So when I realized how many I had missing, I went to Joann's and Michael's. And see, here's the thing. You know, I'm disturbed by it all. I know I'm sucked down the whole Amazon or mail order, online order thing, just like everybody else. It's so convenient. There's no doubt about it, and sometimes the prices are just so much better. But I was kind of sad to hear that Pier 1 was closing, that they went bankrupt, and because of online shopping and then the box stores like Walmart and such, that they are going to be closing their stores here. So what does this all mean? Well, I went to Joann's, and I went to look for some items that I had seen on Farm Girl. Yeah, now there's someone who's an enabler. She is, I mean, it's so bad when I watch Farm Girl that I want goats. Yeah, I want goats in the van. I want a pet goat, you know. And I guess, so when I went to Joann's to find these products that Farm Girl had suggested and said, you might be able to find them at Joann's, I went there and nobody knew what I was talking about at the Joann's near me. And then finally, you know, I spelled it all out for them, and they said they didn't have it, but just go online and order it. I mean, the salesperson was telling me to go order it online, and I thought, this is why you're going to lose your job. I didn't say it out loud, but I thought, this is what's happening. So it is a challenging, but I went to Joann's, and I was going to get the remaining DMC floss that I needed, and they were totally out of a lot of the colors. And then I went to Michael's. They were out of the colors. And so today when G gets back, he's going to take me to the West. And I doubt that they are out of the colors because they carry literally like all the weeks, all the DMC, all the anchor. So there's some conversion that's going to be there. Plus I might find something else. And thank goodness I am not doing that stitch from stash thing where every time you buy something there's a bit of guilt with it. For me, every time I buy something there's a bit of celebration. so so I have been enjoying my stash. So catching up on the floss tube has been it's hard when the weather's good. It's kind of like, you know, when you do a YouTube channel, like I've been doing Quilt Roadies for a bit of time, you automatically see the wax and the waning of your readership. And I suppose if your self-esteem was wrapped up in it, that it might be disturbing. But because it's always been kind of I've always thought of my internet life, if that's what you would call it, or my social media life, as one that is just a way for me to spread some joy and to learn something for myself and entertain myself and meet people. So it's never been, I've never watched the numbers because, I mean, I remember a few years back on my Woolly blog, Google did some adjustment, and literally, and I'm not exaggerating, literally in one day I lost 1,000 readers. And I was like, whoa, what a bummer. What a bummer for them, what a bummer for me. But you just can't get wrapped up in the numbers. So I know that like all of you, you are no different than me. And the weather's getting better, and I want to be outside and play. And so I'm not keeping up on my floss tubes. And then suddenly I'm like 2 or 3 behind, or I haven't gotten a chance to look at them all between my posting a floss tube. But I'm slowly catching up with everybody, because you can only spend so much time watching floss tube. And here I am, hoping you watch floss tube. Well, the other day I found this great Ray Dunn mug, Home Sweet Home. I'm not buying any more just because I have enough, but I loved this one. This straw is really interesting because it's a reusable straw, and it feels funny. I'm a big straw person, but I know I had a big discussion with Jen Kingwell, she's a quilter from Australia, about the plastics in the ocean and stuff, and I totally get it. But you know, when you're addicted to a straw and you can't get a straw, you figure out how to. G for Christmas gave me a collapsible stainless steel straw with its own cleaning brush for Christmas. I gotta have my straw. Yeah, so I'm catching up on the floss tube watching, and I love the suggestions, and I can't believe how many of you knew where to find that Dragonfly Quaker, and it is definitely going to be in my life. I just can't decide at this point, do I want to order the hard copy or do I want the PDF? And I don't know which I want, so I haven't ordered either yet. I have no way of printing the PDF here anyway, but it doesn't matter. It can store on the computer. But I have quite a few PDF downloaded patterns, and they all seem okay, but somehow that Dragonfly Quaker seems like a bigger project that maybe you'd want the hard copy. Not really sure. And the other question I have for you, I am so mesmerized by this HAED that I found, and it is the Crow of Crescent Hill, and it is a heaven and earth design. I've kind of avoided the heaven and earth designs just because it just seems beyond my ability. Not just my stitching ability, but my concentration and my ability to not be distracted and keep track. You know, it's kind of like those patterns are they require a lot, like many different facets of one's abilities to complete. And so I've been avoiding them until I saw this one. I'm just having I don't know, I can't stop thinking about it. But what I wondered, for those of you that are involved in full coverage pieces, I noticed on the HAED site, the Heaven and Earth Designs, that they offer an option to either buy a large print pattern or a regular print pattern. And I'm wondering, is the large print pattern really going to be beneficial in some way, or is it just bigger and then it's harder to follow because it's bigger? And I definitely wouldn't start something like that till I got back to Acorns and Threads and talked to Becca Sambrie Stitches about those programs that you put on your iPad, I think, to keep track of your stitching on very complicated, because she's doing a very complicated cross stitch for her husband, as is Sassenach Stitcher. Oh my God, the two of them, they need to talk, because they are both doing these awesome nature cross stitches that are very, look to me, confetti heavy and beautiful, beautiful. So I kind of want to, you know, there's many facets to that, jumping in on that project. So it's kind of on the back burner. But I did buy this little notebook because I just bought this little notebook here because the Millboro Quilter in South Dakota, and by the way, South Dakota is one of my favorite states to travel through. I really loved it when we camped through there. She listed all the jobs she had. You know, like if you're thinking about what tasks do you complete in a day? Okay, dishwasher, cook, laundry, driver, cross-stitcher, bill payer, you know, I mean, and her list was extensive, and she noticed that I had all these little sticky notes to remind myself. And she said, you need a day book. And I thought it was brilliant, because I've thrown out the sticky notes sometimes and then went, oh, what is that? I can't remember, I threw out the note. But now I'm going to have a day book of notes that I take when I'm watching Floss Tube, and when I think of something profound that I want to share with you. Like, why is white floss so thin? I don't get it. Floss, you know, like DMC Floss white and DMC Floss black should be the same texture and weight, but stitching with white a lot right now, I'm wondering why is it? It's kind of like the white floss reminds me of my thinning hair. You know, it's I don't get it. Why is white floss so thin? I mean, so I now have my day book, and then I can refer back. If I put the date that I shared these notes on whatever medium I'm sharing them on, then I can refer back when my brain starts going. Which sometimes it feels like it's yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Well, maybe not you, Becca, but maybe Colleen does. She kind of speaks to me. So, yeah. And then, okay, here's the best thing I've learned this week. Joe, and this goes for both quilt roadies and stitch roadies. One of the issues I have at home and here is I'm addicted to magazines. I really have to be careful because I'll end up with piles of them around and I barely get through all of them. And so I stopped all my subscriptions and I try to buy the issues I want in the store. Because it's just one more thing to come through the mail, which I need to decrease that. But Joe told me about an app, Readly, R-E-A-D, like read, and L-Y app. And it costs money, but when you think about this, the trial month is 99 cents, and you can cancel at the end of the month. But thereafter, it's $11.99 a month. And you can, I'm going to show you on here, you can have access online to thousands of magazines. And if you ever have to put your phone on like airplane mode, like on a plane, you could have downloaded the whole issue of the magazine to read while you're on the plane and still have your phone in download. So the app is this little thing right there. So it's a little yellow, it has 3 little yellow squares, and so I downloaded, no, I didn't download this one, but favorites. It asks you a few questions about what you're interested in, and then you get all these options, and you have all these issues that are available. So I downloaded some vegan food magazines to cook. I downloaded cross-stitch magazines, primitive quilts, and so when I click on that, like I clicked on primitive quilts, then I have these different issues that are available. And if I click on that, then the magazine opens up, and the magazine and from what I understand, because I don't have a printer here, you can print off the patterns that are in it because you bought the magazine basically. So, oh my gosh, look at that rug hook. Isn't that cute? Oh. So I just have been tickled by this, and I have a month to decide. Like here's, oh, I just thought this was adorable. So here's cross stitch gold, and I'm flipping through the pages. Oh, what's this one? Sampler and Antique Needlework. Look at that magazine. Historical patterns and more. Oh my gosh. Holy moly. Oh, and then see, the charts are in there. So once I get near a printer, I'll look at that in the chart and the pattern for a needle book. So I am definitely, you know, one magazine can be anywhere from $5 to $10 anyway. And here you're getting a whole bunch of options, plus ideas, and gosh, this is, oh, I'm gonna keep this on my list because I really love this magazine. I've never heard of it. Sampler and Antique Needlework Quarterly. Okay. I put a little star. Okay. So that's the best new thing that I've found this week, and I thank Joe for that. So I'm stitching away. I ripped out this corner 3 times. 3 times till I got it right. For some reason, and finally, what I had to do is I had to look through the magnifier, even though it was daytime, to figure out what the heck I had done. But at first I was going to I was just going to keep it. And the one thing that I really love about what I am learning in cross stitch is not to settle. You know, there's so many times where I have I don't want to put the work into it. I don't want to rip it out. I don't want to, you know. But for some reason, this go round with cross stitch, and I believe that it's all the support in the community and all the learning that has occurred for me over the last 3-4 months that I'm not settling anymore. And there's something about stepping up to the plate, whatever that plate is, and not settling for the shortcut or the, you know, I love that that's happening for me. And I truly believe it's because of the community and watching everybody what they're doing. You know, that they're not just turning out perfect projects. They're struggling with them and figuring out what to do, and I really appreciate that. Yeah. So I had to laugh when I was watching Martini Stitcher, because I realized that it seems like, I mean, it seems like how the world is portrayed sometimes is that we are so decisive and different. But the real gift of Floss Tube, I think, is not just the cross stitch. It is the realization that we're more alike than different. You know, no matter where we live, what religion we are, what political affiliation, what foods we eat, whether we're cat people or dog people, it does not matter, because the core thing is we're actually more alike than we are different. And if we could just figure out how to grasp that thread of commonality, I think the world would be a better place. And so when I was watching Martini Stitcher and she was talking about her projects and stuff, and then she said she started a Nashville Preorder, I went, oops. I have a bag at Janine's shop, Acorns and Threads. Yeah, and I don't feel the least bit guilty. I feel kind of smug because I don't have to haul it home. You know, it's sitting up there waiting for me. And the thing about Floss Tube too, though, is you stop it and then you go order, you know, or you look, or you try to figure out. That's why it takes so long to, you know, when someone puts out a 2-hour floss tube, that's a 4-hour watch for me, because I'm stopping and shopping and coming back, and you know, I mean, it's a bulk of time. So maybe I do need to stitch a HAED so I can sit in one spot for a while. But we are more alike than we are different. And I just emailed Janine yesterday and I said, oy vey, I need Mary Mary Needleworker. Have you seen it? It's the shoes. It's the shoes that got me. Yeah. It's the Nashville Needlework released by Lindy Stitches. And I'm here to tell you, the shoes, I love it. And so I emailed Janine and I said, have that in my bag, please. I need that one. Scissors. Scissors. Oh, there they are. Got all that. And, you know, we infect each other. We can't help it. It's how we roll. We are enablers and, oh my gosh, did you see this kind of thing? And I knew that life was going to be changing when the Sassenach Stitcher is no longer monogamous. Yeah, see? We do it. We do it to each other. Let's see, I want to get this in the right spot. There we go. Got my little book. I'll look over here and see. And on that same vein, when you are more alike than you are not, I was watching Melanie Watkins floss tube, and she likes soda stitch. That's the Korean people I'm working on, but that company has the cutest patterns, and I thought, oh, I like the ones that she's working on. And then she brought out Shannon, Christine. Oh, I never even heard of those patterns, and now I want them. Yep, I'm going to have to live a very, very long time. I need to skip a stitch and go 2. So, I hope you have a great rest of the afternoon. I shall be traveling to a stitchy shop. Next week I get to go to the attic. I keep saying that every floss tube. Next week, count on 5 days, 4 days, you know, but I get to go to the attic and I'm looking forward to that. And I know I'll find something there, don't you think? Maybe not. Maybe I won't find one thing. What a joke. Well, have a great day, and we'll talk to you the next time, and enjoy each stitch. You deserve it.